Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to Dr.Monkey, where we laugh together and cry together, but hopefully take something away to treat each other a little better. Here's some interesting stories. One of them about how OP's family refuses to speak with her over a cookbook. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I hope you'll enjoy it. Story 1. So my grandma gave me this cookbook that has been passed down 4 generations in the family, making me the 5th to have it. She gave it to me when I got a house and started in a university 10 years ago. My auntie was in the room when it was given, too. My one cousin was jealous because she thought she deserved it, as I didn't spend much time with my grandma living far away. If Hitler, Stalin, and Martha Stewart had a threesome, my auntie would be the product. She's the most emotionally abusive person I've ever met, and hates my mom for finding real love and remarrying after she got divorced. She expected my mom never to even date again like her. Well, in December my grandma passed away on my birthday. She was my idol and role model, and she loved me, and I loved her so dearly. I was the last person she remembered before her Alzheimer's took over completely. Well, not even 3 days later I find out my auntie's looking for this book and demands it, so she can make copies for the entire family. My oldest cousin thinks it's her birthday, right? And my other girl cousin just had a baby, so she thinks she deserves it so she can pass it down to her little girl, because I can't have kids. I'm having a hysterectomy this next month. I told them all to back off. Grandma gave this to me 10 years ago, before she got sick, before I got sick. Not that that matters. She gave it to me, and I don't have to give it to anyone for any reason. Not even my roommates were allowed to touch this book. None of them are speaking to me now. And I'm really freaking mad. I'm so disappointed over their entitled feelings and throwing it at me. That I can't have kids. I turned 27 the day my grandma died. I want kids. I just can't medically have them. No one is getting this book. She gave it to me, and she was the only person to ever accept me as family. I miss my grandma. I wish I understood the meaning of family. What's written sounds bizarre to me, and I want to feel those good feelings. Just to clarify, I'm hurt because they won't speak to me. They're speaking to everyone else instead of me. I haven't heard once from this auntie, but she said everything to my mom and hurt my mom so much more. And my mom had to relay it to me, thinking I had stole the cookbook because my mom and I weren't talking when my grandma gave me the book 10 years ago. So I either never told her or it was so minor back then she forgot about it. I don't have any respect for people who talk to others about a problem, but not to the person who is the only one that can rectify the problem. She shouldn't have involved my mom. Edit. The book is extremely delicate, so it can't be copied unless painstakingly by hand. This book came from her great-grandmother, my great-great-great-grandmother, from England on a boat with her to Canada. I've been working on making digital copies already for years, but it's massive. It has sections in it about meat cuts, canning, and even table settings, which way the knife blade should point. It also has every generation's writing in it as they scored recipes. I remember crying the first time I got to mark my first recipe as excellent. My auntie was in the room when my grandma gave it to me the first time. It's been 10 years and I've spoken less than a few sentences to that garbage canoe because of things she did to me when I lived with her for a short time. I'm not spending any time giving anything to her. She also didn't even ask me herself, but did it in a way that it demanded my mom make me give it back. After explaining to my mom, she agreed with me. Update. Venting and all the opinions that are well expressed has given me really good ideas on how to safely digitize the book and preserve it when I can afford to. So when I find a store to do it, I'm going to have copies made for each of my cousins only for the next year on the date. A birthday present from me to everyone in memory of the best person I had the honor of knowing. If Auntie wants a copy, she can borrow one of her kids' versions to go copy. I'm not going out of my way for her, but I really do respect this gift and won't covet it and it be lost to the family. I'm also going to leave out a few pages of the book that have the recipes that are my favorite, and I'm known for them specifically because they are so amazing, and I want just one thing to be mine and Grandma's. I think that's more than a reasonable compromise for all the work I'll be taking on to afford the process. Nothing crazy, like 5 pages only. The book is hundreds of pages long. When I read that Aunt demanded the book and intended to make copies, my first thought was she would never give it back, or it would be lost. Or she would use it to blackmail family. You want a recipe? You have to give me this for it. Story 2. So I work in a stock dairy department of a major supermarket in my area. And since the holidays are coming up, my store is trying to hire as many people as possible to deal with the holiday rushes. That means there are now hiring signs up throughout the store, and while I've gotten questions about the process before, it's usually stuff like, how do I go about submitting an application? How old do you have to be to work here? Do they offer flexible hours for high school college students? And about how many hours do they give you per week? The usual stuff that potential applicants would rather ask an associate working on the floor than a manager. I also have to mention, for the sake of the story, I recently got a work shirt with my name embroidered on it, so I wouldn't have to worry about wearing a name tag anymore. On one particular super busy Sunday afternoon, I was loading eggs to the shelf when a woman and her teenage son walked up to me. So the woman said, I see you guys are hiring, and I just wanted to know what the starting pay rate was to see if this would be a good place for my son's first job. I responded, I'm sorry, I'm honestly not sure. And she immediately snapped, What do you mean you're not sure? You're a department manager, right? And I told her, actually, I'm just a part-timer here. But your name is on your shirt, she exclaimed, pointing to my chest. Only managers get shirts like that. So I told her, well, they've recently started offering shirts like this to anyone who wants them, from department manager to baggers. She huffed and said, I can't believe they let part-timers wear personalized shirts like that. I thought you were a manager. Well, anyway, what do you make an hour? So I told her, if your son is hired, he would make much less than I do, since I was hired almost 16 years ago, and workers in my tenure level just got a significant raise. You would be better off asking the manager that question. She then huffed again and said, There's no way you've been here 16 years. You look 20 at the oldest. I'm 32 and extremely baby-faced. Now I'm getting annoyed, so why don't you just tell me what you made when you started working here, since I'm sure it was not too far off the starting pay rate now. I looked her dead in the eye and told her, $7.25. Minimum wage in my state is $12.25. She just sputtered something I couldn't comprehend. Auditory processing disorder can be a blessing sometimes. Then stormed off with her son in tow. Not my worst entitled parent story, but still amusing. Sorry, I can't help you. That's what you need to say. And go about your business. Also, talk to the management and tell them about this so you have someone or somewhere to send people like this. Story 3. A very good friend of mine recently got on an airplane with her 3 boys, 8, 9, and 10, by herself to visit her grandma for a month over summer vacation. I was on transport duty because driving to and from the airport is a young man's game, and also, I love spending time with my homies. There was an accidentally on purpose scheduling issue. Namely, my friend wanted a day in a hotel to recuperate from the flight with her 3 boys before her mom starts driving her insane. Husband is coming up in a few weeks because he just started a new job and can't just be like, back in a month. So I snatch all 4 people and luggage from the airport and give them a lift to the hotel. All 3 boys are bouncing off the walls and my friend just needs a nap. So, hotel pool time. She's posted up under an umbrella and is dead to the world. I'm in the pool with the boys. We started off playing Marco Polo and then had to get creative once other folks were in the pool as well. Eventually, we settled on a game called Not Done Yet. Basically, I'm standing on one side of the steps out of the pool, and when the boys feel like it, they try and leave the pool. I decide if they're done or not using a complicated examination process that amounts to picking up the kid, giving them a bit of a shake, faking a big sniff, say, "Not done yet," and toss them back into the pool. Obviously, if someone's waterlogged or actually wants out, I won't stop them. But typically there's giggling and a bit of a cue for inspection, so the game continues. I get a workout, they get tired out, everybody wins. Then a new player enters the playing field in the form of a very sweet-looking girl, approximately 6 years old, wearing water wings. She asks if she can play too. I say of course she can, but she needs to ask whoever is watching her first, so I know it's okay with everyone. She says okay, and exits the pool. I'm keeping an eye on where she's going so I can smile and give the "I'm not a creep" wave to whoever's minding the kid. Only, she doesn't run to one of the adults on the lounge chairs. She runs back into the hotel dripping wet. She disappears inside and comes back down about 5 minutes later and says, "Mommy says it's okay." Only, she's not the type of kid who lies about batting an eye and is obviously fibbing. I ask if she really did, and the little girl says, well, Mommy is busy, so I think it's okay. It's at this point that the proverbial record scratches in my inner monologue says, "What?" I summon the oldest of the boys from the waterborne shenanigans and ask him to go wake up his mom so she can keep an eye on things for a minute. I need to go take care of something. While he's bearding the dragon in our den, I crouch down and tell the little girl, "We need to go inside and find an adult because it's not okay that you're in the pool all by yourself, okay? You didn't do anything wrong, but you've got some growing up to do before you can just be in the pool all by yourself, okay?" At this point, oldest homie has awoken the mom, and she's now looking at me with the "what the heck" look on her face. I mouth "later" at her, and then take the little girl's hand and bring her to the concierge desk of the hotel. I explain the situation with the little girl to the concierge, whose face goes from confusion to pained, before giving the girl a smile and thanking me for bringing this to his attention. Concierge guy takes responsibility for the girl, and I go back to the pool to explain what happened to my friend. She was livid on the little girl's behalf, but mostly just wanted to resume her nap. Conveniently, at that time, middle homie had gotten out of the pool and was making faces at us while we were talking. I told friend to get some sleep. I'd watch the boys. Then middle homie got spear tackled back into the water because actions have consequences. Maybe 20 minutes to a half hour later, once I was starting to run out of steam, I sensed a disturbance in the force. A rather irate woman wearing a blouse that was inside out was dragging the little girl from before out of the pool area and demanding to know who told her she couldn't swim. The little girl, who was now silent with tears on her cheeks and pathetically deflated water wing, pointed at me. I was instructed to get my rear out of the pool and explain myself. Why on earth was it so hard to watch an extra child while she got some adult time to herself? Why did I insist on ruining her first chance to get away from it all in months? Her little girl is an angel and no trouble to watch. Blah, 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 blah. I explained that it wasn't a good idea to have a little one in the pool with no adult supervision, pointing to a number of signs about no lifeguard on duty, all children must be accompanied by an adult, etc. Inside Out lady is getting steadily more belligerent, explaining like how I'm slow that her daughter knows how to swim and was wearing floaties and could have been fine. She's getting more and more in my face, trying to act like I'm just the worst for ruining everything. And then player 3 enters the fight. It's my friend, and she's fresh out of fluffs to give. She starts reading Inside Out lady the riot act, demanding to know how she could be so stupid and irresponsible, and how dare she try to act like I'm the bad guy here. Inside Out lady opens her mouth to reply and just gets steamrolled. "Just look at your daughter. See what you've done." Appeared to finally get through to this woman, because she looks down at her daughter, then back up at my friend. There's a flicker of shame on her face, and then it's all rage, and she swung. I am not ashamed to admit that stepping between those two without backing up seemed like a poor life choice. I stopped the boys before they could get caught in the crossfire. I told them to take a step back, and when several hotel employees came out to break up the fight, I stepped in. I grabbed my friend and pulled her back while two guys from the hotel grabbed the other woman. The combatants are separated and the police are called. Myself and my friend are back at her lounge chair with a large first aid kit the hotel staff gave us while the boys hover to make sure Mom's okay. She's sporting a magnificent shiner from that first punch, and a couple other scrapes and bruises, but mostly seems livid that she got cold-clocked like that. Police arrive and get the story from everyone even tangentially involved. We wind up being asked to provide contact information to the police. My friend declines a check over by the EMT. She says she's fine, just sore. The story Inside Out lady provided didn't match up at all with what the hotel camera showed, and she got some shiny bracelets put on her before getting shoved in the back of the squad car. My friend said she would be delighted to press charges for assault and was told the police would be in touch. Once the police were satisfied, it was definitely time to retreat to the hotel room. I got dressed and left for the evening after making sure everybody was okay. And on the way out, I asked one of the front desk folks what happened with the woman and her daughter. The woman was arrested, and the girl's father came to get her. They couldn't give me any more information than that. I hope she's okay. What a horrible person. Not only did she leave her very young child with zero supervision at a pool, but she did so in a hotel full of total strangers. Idiot deserved those bracelets for putting her poor daughter in such a risky position. Well guys, that's all for today. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing. And if you missed the last episode on the channel, I'm gonna link it right here. The story's about OP's parents who disowned OP and her fiancé after they found out their choice. Check this out if you haven't, and I'll see you next time on Dr. Monkey.